Alright, and welcome to Chapter 7. In the last chapter, we mostly talked about the Arch tool here in SculptyPaint, created by Cel Edman. And this is a multi-part tutorial. Feel free to click the link or whatever. Maybe I'll put a link in. Maybe I won't. That'd be really funny. I'm talking about a link and it's not even there. Um, okay, the Arch tool. Handy tool, great for building your own sculpt section by section. Really great if you know what you're building and you want to build something, and specifically. There are some other tools here on this page that I haven't covered yet, and I guess I'm going to have to spend some time covering them. There are these mirror top to bottom, left to right, front to back, and thankfully Cel has added, that's the guy who made the program, Cel created a little guide to let you know which way it's going to copy. So like top to bottom, you see that one's white and one's blue. So I'm going to go ahead and click top to bottom, and we'll see, in fact, that the white one is the one it's going to copy. So now the top and bottom are, in fact, symmetrical. We could, of course, copy left to right, and copy front to back, and now we have a perfectly symmetrical lathed object. That's great if you want a... yeah, it's perfectly fine for what it is. We've also got, of course, the standard smooth tools and the standard torus smooth as well, depending on your prim type or your preferences. If you just want little divots in your ends there, we've created some sort of strange yo-yo shape. Very handy if you need a sculpted yo-yo. If you don't, this is probably the wrong program. Honestly, I really like this program. It's been very useful to me, but I haven't had too much use for a lot of the functions, and that's just because I have my own preferences. I've got some other programs I like to use, like Toko and Rokuro, both by a Japanese creator. And of course, my personal favorite is the commercial product, ZBrush. But, you know, there's the right tool for each job, and sometimes you don't need a jackhammer to do a basic job like this. And if you needed a yo-yo, this is a good program to do it in. Although, Rokuro might be good for that too. We were talking about these here. These were the smooths, and of course this is rotate, positive and negative, X, Y, and Z. Now on this is kind of handy because this allows you to rotate. Can't really see what it's doing there. I'm going to use red here, X. This allows you to rotate X, Y, and Z. Now, of course, as you can see, it's making some weirdness there. It's not doing the kind of rotation that you and I would consider rotation. That may be just a result of my having a selection here. Let's test that and find out, because I'm actually learning along with you. Let's see here. Alright, let's try rotating. Nope, looks like it's going to do that warping effect anyway, which is probably where Cel's pre-made sculpts also come up with that weird sort of saddle shape in them that it comes up with. And of course you can mirror top to bottom, mirror left to right, kind of thing. Get some weird shapes out of that for sure. Look at that. That's a cool shape. I don't know what you'd use that for, but it's cool. Some sort of a spaceship part, maybe? Who knows? Anyway, handy tool. Very, very fun to play with. Great way to waste a whole bunch of time not getting what you really originally opened the program up to do done. Arch tool, I haven't found a lot of uses for it. It's good for doing the lathing. It's good for moving things left and right. If you wanted to build a duck, this would probably be a good place to start building a duck. But it's a tool. Don't know so much about it. Moving on to the point tool. This is a tool I do know a little bit about, and one we're going to have to use a little later on when I do the final section. I'm going to go ahead and switch this back to a sphere. Actually, I'm going to do one better and do a box. Now, as you can see, this is in fact, you can't see it. This is in fact a spherical box, so that doesn't make any sense to anybody who's listening, but it makes perfect sense to people who've played with sculpts quite a bit. I believe that's the correct orientation. So we've found a way to determine where the actual top is, even though there's no arrow on here. Scale, plus, minus, left, right, okay. Here we've got a box, and this is called the point tool, and it allows you to draw in here to make masks. I believe this is a selection. So it allows me, I picked right on the top. Let me go ahead and pick something a little bit lower down here in the center. Okay, let's do some scaling. As you can see, this allows me to scale. I should have used Z. Oh. Okay, this allows me to pull off a section here, and allows me to actually get kind of, arts and craftsy with it here. This allows me to push it. Let's see. There, we made a little hole, little docking port there for little ships to land in the giant cube ship of doom. Not terribly. I mean, it's a tool. You can select areas to draw or not draw. Of course, you've got the symmetry tools here, so you can actually see if I can do that right here. That's translate. Translate, of course, meaning slide. Helps if I work with an existing primitive there, sort of get a better idea of what I'm doing here. Now, I've only drawn one box, but if you look on the model here, it's clearly sort of it's made a mirrored version in X and Z, and of course Z is blue, so that's useless. But X and Y would probably be more useful. Yeah, there we go. See, like so. Strange tool, good for experimenting and playing with. Step size, small, medium, and large. Of course, you've got your optional here. But now this is the thing I wanted to talk about. This is rotate X, Y, and Z. Now we've seen this before, haven't we? Except this time, let's look at a cube. This time we're rotating just a section here. I'm going to put that back. Let's clear selected. And now let's select the whole thing. And watch this magic. The whole cube rotates. And that allows us to change where the axis of the sculpt actually is going to fall. Now the axis is on blue, where it should be. Very useful if you, for example, had a duck and you needed to rotate it around. You could just sort of rotate it around like that. We'll see that later in the final example that we'll do, because that was the entire reason I started this. And of course you've got rotate around selected, or 0, 0. And of course your handy smoothing tools here, which are just handy to have for smoothing. Clear selection, of course. This is a remarkably basic tool for this program, but it is what it is. Looks like we're right up on 9 minutes now, so I'm going to go ahead and close this one out, and we'll pick it up in the next chapter, which I think is chapter 8. Not sure. But this tool, probably the handiest, just sort of generic tool there is. And once again, that's the point tool. So, see you in the next chapter.